Right.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So we have some disclosures. So we are not going to talk about future versions which are coming up with Excalibur and Merlin. The game is changing slightly there, but as there will be still a Zenap version for publishing desktops,
And
or a Zenap way, we will keep the session on the scope of based on the current versions available. So Zen desktops 5.6 and Zenap 6.5.
Yeah. There will be big changes when we look at the future versions. So again, no reason for that.
Yeah, and if we should talk about any NDA stuff, just keep quiet, forget it.
Yeah.
The audience.
We would like the audience to participate again.
Yeah.
Well, there's not going to be any demos here. There's
No.
not going, we're going to maybe fight a bit.
No. Yeah. And also no deep dive technical stuff. So we just want to have a funny discussion about all the problems we got with selling Zenap. Because all customers are trying to buy Zen desktop license.
So why
Of
is
course.
that? Why? Brainwashed.
Yeah, brainwash.
Marketing bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, beside this brainwash stuff, I just want to ask you, how do you start applications without having a desktop? Do I really need a desktop? Do you really need a desktop? You need one, right?
I need one.
You could do it without. Huh? What's the name for Zen desktop published applications?
VM-hosted apps.
VM-hosted apps. Is that cool?
No.
Really?
No, for some reason.
Somebody using a desktop hosted app?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
For how large is the environment?
they're pretty large. But not the VMO's apps part. You have some apps that don't run on Zenap.
Some.
Some. And we are offering them with VMO's apps as a purpose application in the Zenap desktop.
So what in the case all of your 3,000 users are requiring to start one app which doesn't run on Zen?
Then you don't have use case.
See?
Yeah, but when you have a device, you have a desktop, right? You have a client operating system.
Yeah.
So I provide the basic same user experience.
Yeah, you have the same user experience, right? But
But is it so?
well, it is so.
But what user, okay, I must say for 10 years, what user expect when to start PC was more open gen and they are searching for a start button. My wife, like last 5 years, don't search for a start button, she search for a browser and then she goes to HM, yeah? That's the first site she goes on and look for the post for the child and then she goes to Facebook, but she don't use computer at all, she uses only a browser. Why you need a desktop? That's the question. Actually, I think, in my opinion, it's both products will die one day. This Zen desktop product will die sooner, and this one, which will be a fortran of PC, because we will have application which runs on legacy Windows in the future, and for this we will need Zen.
Because
We're not talking about in the future, because
No.
we are here right now, and that's with the current technologies we have right now.
Because I am Zenap, I don't care about the desktop. I run seamlessly on an iPad.
No, but I care about the desktop. I have a nice background. I'm providing what the users want.
Beside the nice
But it isn't
background.
about the background.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So how important is the background for many users?
That particular one?
Yeah. Well, how many of you have problems with users, or if you're going to the desktop transformation model? How many of you have issues with where are my fucking icons? I can't find my background again. Where are my icons? So who doesn't need a desktop with icons? Every user, because they were used to have a desktop for years, and they put everything on the desktop, even their documents, not only icons, everything.
It's called Windows 8.
Yeah, even Microsoft is starting with killing the desktop.
Yeah.
While Microsoft is probably the last big vendor that is doing that. So I think the desktop is.
But let's switch back before people. I'm a customer. I don't have Citrix. I sit in work. So what do I have? I have this, right? So why not provide a solution where they get the same? That's me.
On Zenap.
I can do that.
Why not?
I can do that. By the way, do you know if this is a Zenap shared
No, but-
hosted desktop or it is a Windows 7 pool desktop, whatever? Can you recognize if it's server or client operating system?
No, it's done, right?
It's the same.
Yeah,
Then it's just cheaper.
I can do the same as you can.
Yeah, but sometimes
I'm cheaper.
if you have a
Make it cheap.
in a company where you don't put all your applications in setup, you have a mix between local local installed applications and setup for some applications. And you have the problem when you come from your home because you still have all the issues with client server applications and lines and stuff. So in that scenario,
You mean
It's
your
really-
data is not where your application is, right?
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, your user experience is very different from home than it is on your work. And in that scenario, it would be really nice to provide a desktop that's similar to the desktop that you have on your work, so you have the same user experience.
You want to give iPads for all your users, but that's what to say. We live in the time when the user experience changed at home, and that's the main reason why desktop died by Microsoft. It's because user experience at home changed, and everything which comes to the user experience at home will come something in business, and that's it. My friends use iPods to surf internet. They don't use desktop.
But it's about user experience, and that's why I want to focus on it. So what is it we want to provide to the users, and what are the challenges? Do we see this as a challenge out there? I don't know. What do you do to users? You just want to provide that? Or that this?
Is it really about
What
user
is-
experience? Isn't it about getting the users that they can do their work so the company earns money? They don't need a desktop for that. Because with a desktop there's no enterprise application on a desktop. Or you want to use Notepad or something like that. It doesn't matter.
Well,
Agreed.
if you talk about Windows desktop, they don't need a Windows desktop. But how do you call the surface on your iPad where you're starting application? It's also a kind of a desktop, right? You have to.
Interesting enough, my boss is running around and saying we need a desktop, and the users need desktop. And now he's starting, okay, I know the desktop is dead, but they need a workplace, they need workplace. So it's all this marketing bullshit, they have their one word and they're running behind the word. Yeah, it is. And the question is, when you said you come into a company that doesn't use Zenap, what is that? Every company has this already in place.
No.
So when you
No.
every big company.
No.
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 No, I cannot believe.
No.
They have terminal services at least.
No.
Some of them have some of it for some of their users, and lots of them don't have it for lots of users.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have it, but they have it in place somewhere for some users.
Yeah, they may have a small number of licenses.
So they know how it works, they know how it scales, they know they can scale it bigger. And now somebody's coming in and say, you can buy Zen Desktop, so you can work from everywhere with every device, like they're coming with from the company VMware. They say, oh, you can do something very creepy, and I could do this with terminal service like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah, you're
think this is a very hard thing for Zen Desktop to be sold, or for
That is.
you. That's the problem, because they only want to sell something new, of course. They have to. The whole industry.
I agree.
works
Another
like
thing
that.
is, I just want to put it up, we haven't put it in here, but any device, and the tablet, and the phone, and if we go on back with the slides, it's about connecting and getting the applications and your data. So what is it you want? What is it you want to provide to users? Again, it's a user experience, and I know. No, but actually, how many is using this on an iPad or Android device or companies where they either work from home or travel around? What
This
do
is
you want this? No, but
definitely- yeah.
I think this is actually how many
I mean,
really want
running
desktop
running
at the end of the
this
day of the customers.
running this on an iPad is just marketing BS, right?
Yeah.
It works, but all those people, all those happy people running Windows desktops on their iPad, is there really user experience? How is the user experience? It's shit, isn't it?
But how many people, anybody in here using Zen Desktop on a tablet or iPhone, tried it? What do you think about it?
Yeah.
Do you think it's good?
No.
Why?
It works.
Yeah, it works, but besides, yeah.
So if you compare it then to the application, the published application on a...
That's a design problem, because Windows apps aren't designed to
Exactly.
be
Yeah.
Used by gestures and something like this.
Exactly.
They are designed to use with a keyboard and mouse. So if you put these two design concepts together, it won't work. It won't work well. So Citrix developed these mobility packs.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, but that's-
to give the user a little bit of this experience to
A little bit, yeah.
yeah, a
And
little
that's
bit
it.
only,
It's
a
just
little bit of this experience to work with the Windows environment on these tablets. But Microsoft now comes with Surface, and Surface is something of a hybrid, I think. It's providing a desktop, and which is usable with keyboard and mouse as well as with gestures. So what will happen to something which is provided on the other devices? And another question for me is why we are complaining about XA or XD, because they are all doing the same. I can do a published application with XenApp, and I can do a published desktop with XenApp, and I can do a published desktop with Zen Desktop, and I can do VM-hosted apps with
But
Zen
you would
Desktop
spend a
too.
fortune to
Okay.
use him.
And the difference between these two environments is the underlying operating system. You're using terminal services with a multi-user environment, and you got a single-user environment.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the difference. Not the question if we are using desktops or published apps. It depends on the needs of the user. And so you have to decide what's best for the user, and not battling between these two different infrastructures.
Okay, let's switch the topic.
Yeah.
A little bit, just a little bit, because I have to admit that even if we don't have much in common, we have something. Hosted random pool is almost the same as hosted shared, right? More or less. So besides my hosted shared model, you have a bunch of other possibilities how you can provide a desktop for the user. But how many of you have use cases where you have really a lot of users beside this or this one?
Seen
A lot of users?
Well, I don't know, 500.
500 with dedicated or?
Yeah. 700
Okay.
maybe. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I said.
How many boxes you have for that?
I can't remember.
So,
well, as we all
It was
know,
done
we
before I
don't
got there.
talk about future versions, but as we all know, this will be
yeah, into
what you
one.
get.
What about the physical remote PC? Do you see anyone using this?
Yeah,
Any customers?
We've got a few uses for that.
Okay.
Higher education customers use it quite a lot in media labs. So if they've got a lab of physical machines that are very high spec, they allow them to be used out of hours. That's the main use case I've seen.
Because you can, yeah.
And do these physical machines live in the data center?
No. So in the daytime, they're using the fact lines. So that they're kind of using the normal and
You just wanted to have.
So why not
possibility to
just
access the remote.
install a VDA? No. I'm asking because
Well,
why?
it's HDX and it's management, so you can get HDX connection through, and these are media PCs, they've got 3D graphics cards, that's specifically why they're there. And obviously they haven't got centralized management.
But you could also do that with no VDA.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
With X3D Pro, just install and
Or I guess it's centralized management, and that one, it treats it just like a virtual desktop.
yeah. That's interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
because this is claimed to be a funny session. This is a sausage, not what you might like.
Like first of all, let's how many went to Barcelona and Symmetry? Okay.
Oh,
That's
all
not good.
the other guys
Is
who did not see the keynote in any field? Oh, well then, I'm sorry, but you might not have a chance to answer the question. But let's try it.
Yeah. How many sausages did Mike Templeton
0.
eat in 3 days?
18.
18.
None.
Who was the first?
I think he was the first.
You were first?
Which
I
size
want
are
a
you?
t-shirt.
My size?
Yeah.
Do I have to tell you?
We
Size
don't
matters.
care. We don't care.
If you have.
Neil, yeah. What do you want?
While they are
Syndics or
searching for the
Syndics?
right size, we'll bring up some more
Thank you.
topics. If we talk about user
Who
experience,
wasn't that one to Synergy? Who wasn't there?
Wasn't there an synergy?
don't get hit.
Nah. No.
Yeah, throw it.
It's a fair one.
Throw away camera, so throw it away.
If we talk about user experience, I would say my user experience is almost the same as yours.
Mine is awesome.
Um,
I can do anything.
I don't need admin rights on my session. I don't need admin rights. Why do I need admin rights?
Everyone needs admin rights.
Okay, okay.
Hang on.
So,
What is it? Company.
yeah, but
Okay, so
just
how many companies actually, where the users actually are admin rights, have that today?
even in
I
some
think, I'm just asking you, you don't see the, well, companies where they're providing users admin rights?
No.
No?
No.
So not a business challenge?
Yes, through our product we do AutoCAD. The AutoCAD applications don't run without administrator rights.
Yeah.
It's locally, but they have
So I've seen a lot of times, I don't know if it's Denmark or maybe Scandinavia, I've seen a lot of companies where actually give users administrative rights because, maybe because of IT is they're too less with the resources of managing IT, so the easiest one is just give them the admin rights and they can do whatever they want. And that's actually, it's a big challenge.
what they want, maybe it's more about that. I have a lot of use cases where there are certain users having the requirement to update a freaky application or crap application every day. So how do you manage that? How do you manage applications being installed or used by just a couple of users, but you have a high frequent update schedule for the application, or for the database of the application?
Use that V.
Yeah.
Are you going to update the AppV package each day or every second day?
You need to.
Distribute it? If it's just a product catalog or whatever?
No, but the business is saying that if you have a damage on your machine, you can do a backup of the snapshot, and it will be alright. They don't have a technical point of view about that.
No,
So I
but
just think that if you have admin rights, it's not so important because you can go back through the past and it's okay. It's like it's a non-responsible point of view.
well, I would say if I have to provide admin rights on Synapse, then
It could be
I have to think about myself. For you, it should be an issue, right? You have several possibilities to get rid of that problem because you have a single user environment. If somebody's fucking up his own machine, then, well, I don't care.
No, you have to care.
Yeah, you
Of
care.
course
You do care.
Yeah, but
Because if
They will
user
phone you.
isn't able to work, if he fuck up his own machine, your boss maybe calls you, hey, get him to work.
yeah, but then it only affects one user.
Yeah.
If Sasha
Very
is installing
important
a crap application on my environment, then I gonna
Then you will have a problem.
yeah.
It's not your environment.
But what I mean is,
That's not mine, yeah.
this kind of environment, when I give my users administrator rights, that I do it only in with one thought. I will do this, but I have to have a possibility remotely to give him desktop again installed. Then I will say, look user, you screw it up.
Yeah.
What I will do now is I will make it ground from scratch. If you have any data on it, which is not a deal because you have to have data on shares, then you lost it, but it's your fault.
Yeah.
So if you're complaining about users who put their workloads on the desktop, you have a design problem. You have no problem with the users. You have to be aware that users don't put their data on the desktop. put data on the share where you can separate, backup them, and then you clean up the desktop, and then you can refurbish the virtual machine if this got fucked up.
Yeah, they just log off and they got back to normal.
Then
So it's a desktop.
that's where we come to another topic. What about lockdown environments? We want to prevent users to screw up the.
But why do you want to do that? Why not give them freedom?
I have to do that. Look at me. if I'm not good in here, my environment will be screwed up after the first 20 users trying to do some nasty stuff, or they don't know that they're on a multi-OS, so they just behave like they're at home, and I'm done. So on your side, I would say that's an advantage for Zen-Desktop. Because if you have a single image per user, then you might not have the same requirements to lock down the environment.
But still, I think, I don't know if I'm right about this, but in many use cases with Zen-Desktop, you use the shared model, not a dedicated, to lower the cost. So again, then you're doing actually even more lockdown. Is that the use case where you implemented Zen-Desktop today? Do you use the shared? Do you use dedicated? What dedicated?
Dedicated.
Dedicated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Existing.
Why should I use shared?
Why dedicated?
What is the
Yeah.
And how do you manage all the dedicated stuff out there?
Yeah.
Because there's only got like 5 anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Like other PCs.
It's not going to
In the
scale.
company, there have a lot of PCs. So there is a SSM implement in all the company. And they want to use the same tools that was implemented in the company. They don't want to change the master on the company.
So
there are a big things. So you can change things in 6 months. They need more than 2 years.
So at the end, you just move all your ESD, OSD stuff with the physical components. You just move it to the data center, right?
Yeah.
And you don't change anything else.
Yeah. For the moment, they don't change. And for the future, they can change, but now not. It is not now. There's not time to do that.
There's too, yeah,
Why
there's
do
too,
people
too much
spend
change
money
to do
for
all of the stuff to make shared work.
What cheap?
Wait.
But what's
So for shared to work, you need a massive infrastructure change, and you potentially need services and solutions in there to virtualize the user experience. But that's not what your cost model or your business driver was to deliver this virtualized desktop. You just want a centralized desktop. So if you say, oh, we can do a shared model because we save on some disk, they just go, it'll be quicker, it'll be easier if everyone just has a persistent session and happy done. It just makes it easier. The shared models are really the shared model introduces too much change and too many other things for many.
Too much change for itself to be managed.
Just because you're using Zen-Desktop because users need that specific instance for them. They used to have a desktop that they had full control over. Now they want a desktop that they can use they can use on their tablet or they can use from home. That's it. That's all they want to do. Or they're abroad and you want to keep the data. Or they're a contractor and you want to keep the data.
And they earn money too because it's a uniform platform for them. Better than I have a Dell or HP workstation, physical workstation. You just don't need to focus on the physical, and all people are using the same kind of VM, even for generic accounts. So they gain money.
The only people who want shared models are big service providers.
So which devices are then the users using when they connect up to a solution like that?
Same
clients.
Same clients.
Okay.
Like that. Or all the workstation.
All workstation with the USB key and the full client and the USB key.
USB key.
Okay, but maybe because time is running out, we go.
I like this freaky USB.
Yeah, the freaky USB stuff. Sorry,
that's a good example.
Yeah.
How many has actually popped into this issue with the freaky USB? The freaky USB can actually be for a school where they have a drawing board with a special device where the connectivity cannot go through to Zen-App.
Smart boards.
That of course works with Zen-Desktop. Because we do
That's a point for you because freaky USB device on Zen-App is just.
Yeah.
But it's freaky.
It's tricky, yeah.
But it's still possible to have a few
local desktops for that type of exceptions in the XenApp environment.
Flex-based.
I must say,
Why do you want to have a full XenDesktop infrastructure just for such a small number of machines that have those freaky USB devices?
Yeah.
So, I would say for the majority of the users we use XenApp, and for the freaky USB devices we just provide some nasty Windows 7 images, right?
Yeah, of course. Windows 8.
Windows 8, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
You can win another t-shirt.
Bigger.
Please fill in the sentence.
If you think that yours is the biggest one,
bigger one.
That's first.
Who?
Chris.
Which one do you want in desktop or XenApp?
Choose the right answer.
Let's go XenApp.
is there a 2-for-1 trade-up?
If you get the XenDesktop, the XenApp's included.
Yeah, I get 2 t-shirts for that one.
What do you think? Is there any difference between him and me regarding these topics? I like especially this one, because the most of the issues I have with desktop transformation model is in here. Because my customers have client departments, they manage their clients for years. Manually, then with ESD, and now you tell them you had to take care about the golden image, you think about IOPS, what the hell is IOPS?
Yeah.
So I like this one. What about you?
I don't think it's making a real big difference.
Between him and me?
Yeah. Both more complicated than standard stupid desktop. That's easy, you can do it with CDs, that kind of stuff. Both you add complexity in some way or the other. Small storage and then that kind of stuff, and on XenApp you have to know that that's more use on it and that you have to know.
Yeah,
It's different, but it's both more complex. So
yeah, you're right.
Actually, when you implement such a solution in an organization which don't have kind of virtualization in it, that will be a challenge for both of administrators. I actually find that a lot of administrators, even in organizations which have money to school them, are under development in their skills with the time which they spend there. That's actually the pity. Then you come and say, yeah, look, we will do XenApp, or we'll do XenDesktop, or we'll even do server virtualization. They all like, how it works, is this complicated? What we can do now? Actually, like, oh, that's a big change, and you think, what is a big change? Okay, it's extra complexity.
it's a different concept, and that's the main issue. It's conceptual.
Yeah, if you want to do your XenApp environment right, then you still need quite some knowledge, like understand it installs, application virtualization technique, stuff like that, and that's still pretty complicated for a simple desktop guy.
And XenDesktop, you have the same issue.
Yeah, but traditionally, XenApp environments were managed by data center people, right? Not by client. And that's where we are having a change if we
Yeah,
go over
it
to
is.
Thomas.
I would say it's more complex. You need more skills.
To operate on XenApp than XenDesktop?
But then again, relying on
Like
all
that.
the services that you need with IOPS and scalability and...
What's
Yeah.
about how many administrators you need to support this environment? In our environment we have
I need only one.
5,000 users with XenApp, 4 people. And one guy is doing the XenApp things for the administrators. And every time I come to every day, there's one administrator coming up, oh, I have a XenDesktop problem, can you fix my XenDesktop? And while he is fixing this one guy, I make an update for SAP GUI for 700 people. And so what I want as a XenApp administrator or as a centralized administrator, don't want to have one user having one problem with one machine. If I have a problem with several users,
You like huge problems,
I know already that I can fix this problem for all of them.
Yeah.
I think these desktop approach, like one administrator is coming to one desktop and fixing his desktop around because he had admin rights and because he installed some application that he didn't pay. Did he use his own credit card for buying this application he's installing on it? I think today in an enterprise environment, this is not possible anymore. Although there are iPads and all these apps and blah, 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 you cannot install anything you like to want on your machine. You still have to, has to be a license and has to be processes. It's all about processes.
It is. Another thing is, when we talk about the admin, it cannot be just a local admin in the company, it could also be the consultant. And I think this is actually, well, I've seen a big pattern now in the EMEA that we have a huge problem with skills, getting people with the right skills, get them educated. And why do we see this? So why is there a problem with the people getting the right people that can get to this training so we can deliver these kind of solutions? I don't know if I'm just speaking on what I'm seeing, but I know in the Nordics we have a huge problem with this, with people.
I think if you have a well-managed physical environment, it's a lot easier to go to Zen Desktop or Zen App. Yeah? There's a lot of the rules in place for Zen App or Zen Desktop still apply on a physical desktop. So I still think if you've got an environment where it's managed well physically on desktops, you've got a lot better situation where the skills can be ported across the Zen Desktop. If you've got a completely unmanaged environment, as you stand, and you're going to migrate to this, you've got to do two things. You've still got to manage things and you introduce the complexity of Zen App as well and Zen Desktop.
My biggest issue with large Zen Desktop environments is you're really fast coming to the discussion about your storage. I don't care about storage if I have physical desktops. I don't care about, or I don't really care about much about storage if I have a Zen App environment.
I don't care about storage if I have a remote PC.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the data center model. You have your desktops running in the data center. So, yeah, after 500 desktops, you want to scale more. You think about to replace your storage because it's weak.
Buy more Atlantis licenses.
I don't care about storage.
Yeah, you do. You do really. You care about storage. You just care about storage in a different way to the way that Zen Desktop does. To say that a Zen app doesn't care about hardware is false, isn't it? You're telling a little lie there.
Yes.
Because you've had to scale those servers, haven't you?
Maybe that's because back in the days, all of us used Zen app with local storage, right?
Yeah.
If
But you still have
if
to
he's
think
using
about it.
local storage, he doesn't care about that storage anymore.
You still have to think about that storage if you want to scale your server.
Yeah, but it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
If you take all these IOs and centralize them,
Oh, it's not that difficult to do
bringing
Zen
the
Desktop,
Zen
just
Desktop in the
expensive.
data center. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is expensive.
But it's not so expensive when you use local storage for Zen Desktop. You can also use local storage for Zen Desktop and with provisioning.
Now, every storage in the data center is more expensive than decentralized on the desk.
That's not true. So if you
Why?
if you have a look
That's
at
interesting. Why?
If you have a look at a physical desktop,
Yeah.
which you use in former times, and you put this hard drive from this physical desktop in the data center, and you look at the costs for this hard drive,
Yeah.
you can buy
But
storage.
you have to cool it. And you have to
Yeah,
have
of
the
course.
place.
Of course.
Every square meter in the data center costs money. And if I go to the data center and show you there's one server hosting 300 people with 10 Zen apps on one ESX on this size, and then on the top there's this desktop machine with this fancy graphic card just for one user, that doesn't scale in the data center.
That's right.
That's
But
too
if you-
expensive.
But you have to look at all the costs, of the total cost of ownership. So if you put this desktop into the data center, you will reduce the costs for this workplace, of course. You don't need a full PC or full notebook at his workplace.
Wait. Then I still have to manage a device on the endpoint user side,
you
right?
have to device.
I have another endpoint to get to the other endpoint. I move to the data center, right?
So, of course, but what kind of
Yeah, you can put a SIM client there. You can put a SIM client there. But why not have this user working on this machine with the other 300 guys on Zen app? The only problem is
on
we
user
did this.
density point for me, right?
We did this for 10 years, and the only problem is the marketing guys don't want to. They cannot sell anything that we already have there. It's difficult.
That's true. Yeah, but
you have to have something new.
It depends
even
on the
if it
use
doesn't make
case.
sense.
It depends on the use case.
Yeah.
So, of course, of the freaky USB stuff. Because of applications, what Wilco said, because of applications which are unable to run on terminal servers.
Yeah, this is at 20%. But you have to have 80% of the money for that. That's the problem.
No, no, I can't agree with this. No. So if you
I
have a
apologize to
deployment model,
interrupt you. We have to move forward because time is running out.
How many devices fits into an eye jacket? Backwards.
With or without the eye tie?
6.
With the
One.
No, man. 6,
6?
but with the eye tie.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, it's 6 without the eye tie, 7 with the eye tie.
Yes.
This better be ZenApp. No, that's Zen Desktop.
Give him fuck. Give him two.
You got any hand sanitizer?
He asked
for the trade-in. Give him 2 Zen Desktops.
I can give you a camera too. Sorry.
What about scalability?
What the hell is this?
What about
It's
scalability?
retro design. Retro design.
Is ZenApp as much scalable as ZenDesktop or vice versa?
It's not scalable.
It's,
Which is more scalable? ZenApp?
Of course.
but not by as
Of
big a
course.
margin
How,
as most
how
people
many
think.
people, how many users you put on one box? That is the question.
It's not as big a gap as there used to be, because HP just, like within the last maybe 2 months, did scalability studies, and the numbers were so close between Zen Desktop and ZenApp that they actually called in Microsoft and VMware and Citrix product engineers, the actual coding people. They actually come in and they spent a month with HP, because there was, most people say, well, there's like 15–20% difference in scalability. It was less than 5%.
Okay.
And they spent 2 months working on the numbers. And
How does that work? How many virtual CPUs on the box?
I can send you a link to the white
It's
papers.
simple math.
Let's send me the link. I will
And they did
we'll put
it-
it on here on the
And they
slide.
did, it was the exact same numbers for VMware and Hyper-V and Zen Server. But Citrix wouldn't let them publish the Zen Server, so they only published the Hyper-V and vSphere
Okay.
numbers.
Maybe
But it's less than 5% scalability difference between the latest versions of
I will
each.
put the link here so we have the connect to the discussion. Maybe this is one for you because maybe you know that already. Thomas is the HDX 3D Pro junkie. So
Yeah, but scalability and high performance graphics. So can you do that with ZenApp?
No one can.
yes,
Yes, you can.
I can do that, but I'm good enough to know that I cannot do that as good as you.
It's very niche, Thomas.
Yeah.
Very small. Very
3D, HDX 3D Pro is limited to ZenDesktop, actually.
But again, I would say then, in many use cases, you can actually use and have more users on yours than the one with me.
Yeah.
It depends on the, which kind of user you have, and requirements, of course.
To be honest, I don't want to have a lot of high performance graphics users on my ZenApp boxes. Why not? Then I'll give you the point, because it's much more easier to deal with high performance graphics on a single user based environment than on a multi-user.
I don't agree with you.
Wherever
I don't agree with you because it's actually the patterns of the users using these applications actually using 80% CPU. In most use cases, I'm talking high level. So the graphic cards actually, it's about 10 to 20% max. So it is CPU, very intense application. Do we have that with other applications in the normal, with ZenApp? Yes, no?
More and more, I'd say.
Yeah.
More and more. Applications are changing, data is changing, multimedia is coming into the data center.
But it is unique, but actually I would say most use cases to lower the TCO, but then it's again the network bandwidth. We have the problem because that will increase really a lot. But then of course the desktop has the solution to solve this. You have to have this special coding.
And then what's happening?
Yeah.
How the video moves to the client side, like magic, with 1 kilobyte.
Of course,
it still has to go over the network.
Yeah, but still
Yeah, but
it's
what I can
way-
provide is the deep compression codec, what Zendesk provides. So you're right. The network bandwidth is also a question for high performance queries. That's where I'm not able to do that right now.
What I think is really interesting about this one is that actually just because I also went to a use case here last week, is that I would say in many use cases you actually use that because it works out of the box. Just take a piece of hardware, put in the graphic, it works. If you haven't tried it before, it's really powerful.
Mm.
So how many have tried this? What do you think about it?
It's great.
Yeah, it works great, right? So why don't we do it? Why don't we put in the graphic cards to provide a better user experience? Because many applications actually today use GPU. Internet Explorer now uses it. Even you can, I think Chrome, you can go in and change it. Adobe's applications, everyone, most are changing now to GPU and use that on normal applications.
You're absolutely right.
So
Didn't know that. Isn't that the problem that you cannot virtualize it yet?
No, you can.
Like scalable, like
yeah.
What's the limit?
Yeah, that's the point.
You can just 1 card to 1 machine, no? That's not like I have with the virtual CPU.
Yes, actually.
I want to have we all want to have this thing.
This is the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is that you don't have any monitoring to do the sizing, scalability in the GPU area. Not yet.
For Citrix, no.
What?
For Citrix, no. So,
There's no vendors have, what I've seen, made any monitoring solutions that can look at this.
No, for sharing.
So you had some moments to think about that. Who has the answer for that?
Simon Flood.
Can we get a hint? He also likes sausages. Yeah, he is completely right.
Who was it? You?
So, last slide. Oh,
2010?
I do a test. No? Anyone want one?
I know we could discuss days or weeks about these topics here. Who we're gonna win the fight? I just want to bring up something. Just because of this point here, I currently win the game. What do you think?
What are you basing that on?
Microsoft licensing model for VDI.
Sucks.
Big time.
No.
Regardless of whether or not
We
it
cannot
sucks,
supply.
you work with it. That's it. So you can complain till the cows come home that Microsoft's licensing policy is crap for VDI until Microsoft changes.
You're not allowed.
But out of the two,
At all.
you win because you're
Yeah.
the one that actually complies with the policy, and that's just fact. Yeah, you can't get away from that. However,
Is
it
the-
costs more money. Yeah.
Okay, maybe this topic was one of Thomas' favorites, time to market. How long does it take to transform a physical desktop to a Zenap environment, and vice versa if you think about Zendesk?
Much more quicker to deploy Zendesk, of course. But it's just for, in the beginning when it's dedicated,
Because you don't
it's
have
just one machine.
Yeah, because you don't have to test and analyze your application and
You
make
don't-
sure
you
it
won't do
works.
it.
and
Yeah,
it's
you
all
say do yourself.
expensive applications that can do all these kind of stuff.
I've had customers that have actually gone to Zen Desktop because overall it was cheaper because their application compatibility testing would be so extensive on a 64-bit operating system. They actually went to Zen Desktop anyway.
Yeah.
So
I know FDNA is a great product, but still there's also a high cost to come over to Synapse.
And that DNA just tells you how much effort you're going to need. You still need the effort to actually bring it up. So if they're all red, it's not going to just magically make them green.
Jim?
So I'm running into quite a lot of customers now who are doing exactly what Chris said because they're worried about end of life for 2003. They've got a large 2003 Zenap phone. They know that they should be moving to 6.5. They get the app DNA report and they go, I haven't got the engineering spend or time to do this. What about Zen Desktop? Well, I can get there in a month.
The other thing is,
it then becomes a very easy conclusion to go to Zen Desktop and not Zen App.
the other thing is application vendor support. They're obviously much more likely to support a desktop operating system. Windows 2012
Exactly.
server-based operating system.
Sorry to interrupt you. We have to stop the session here.
Yeah, you can continue the session very much when the geeks speak.
Yes, maybe we take some topics for the Geek Speak, whether or not. But this is the point, I think, where we all struggle with. The CEOs, they look at the shitty marketing stuff, and that's where we are dealing with decisions maybe not made on the technical side. And whatever we choose, Zen Desktop or Zen App, I think the key in the future is this.
Yeah, automation and orchestration.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
If you have any thoughts, if you thought the presentation was shit, then just tweet it. Otherwise, thank you.